detecting me. It detected me here. How far away am I? 160 centimeters. What? Behold, a brand new doorbell. Which looks nothing at all like the previous doorbell. Why do manufacturers keep giving me an excuse to use this meme? It is nothing like the old one. This camera has mmWave presence detection. In a doorbell, that's genius. Why did no one do this before? This means that it is almost incapable of getting things wrong when it is detecting movement because it recognizes people in 3D. Getting alerts for people over the other side of the street has been the bane of my existence since I started reviewing video doorbells. It will be incredible if this thing has solved that problem, and we're going to find out today. If it hasn't, I'm going to be more disappointed than that time that I got fired from the Galactic Senate for needing a Wii.
Honorable representatives of the Republic, I come to you under the grave.
Is there any way can we just turn this thing around, guys, and just go back to the auditorium thing? Embarrassing. This is not the same doorbell at all. 24/7 recording, free cloud storage, 2K video, and it's a full-blown Zigbee and Thread Matter-enabled smart home hub. It's a doorbell. Is everything a smart home hub now? Am I a smart home hub? Beep, 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 beep. Thanks to Aqara for sponsoring today's video and for sending me their new Aqara Doorbell G410. This camera, as I have already said, has mmWave presence detection, which is completely insane. It is also Thread enabled, which means that it will work with Apple HomeKits directly, including support for HomeKit secure video without any need for a hub. And this is a massive deal to a lot of people, if they've invested in the ecosystem of evil. Good. And also, of course, Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. And the speed of the feed load looks like this.
Alexa,
show the G410.
Okay.
That's pretty quick. That's on battery. Wowzers. In my case, I use an Amazon Echo Show, and I can also speak to the person at the front door through the Amazon Echo Show directly. Hello, homeowner. Hello, potential intruder. And I can get it to automatically load the feed whenever someone presses the doorbell, which makes things really fast.
Someone is at the doorbell camera hub G410.
You may also notice that I changed the ringtone there, which is something else you can do. I got bored of Ding Dong.
That's what she said.
That's what she said! But possibly the most exciting thing about all this is that Aqara have fully embraced the Matter smart home ecosystem. Oh, what? Instantaneous! Oh, that's so good. This means you can actually control third parties, such as a Lifex bulb outside your house, for example, using nothing but Aqara's ecosystem to trigger it. If you're not interested in doing the whole Home Assistant thing, you don't want to mess around with routines in Amazon Alexa, you could use Aqara's ecosystem to turn a Lifex light bulb on whenever there is motion detected by the camera. That's amazing. Not only that though, there's a Zigbee hub for Aqara devices too, which means you could get an Aqara contact sensor, put it on the door, and whenever the door is opened, automatically turn on a LIFX bulb in the house, or a Philips Hue bulb in the house, or whatever it is that you have that is Matter enabled. What? That's an Aqara contact sensor turning on a Philips Hue bulb with nothing in between. Amazing. Let me just clarify that. You don't have to have anything in between for products that have Matter enabled directly on them. In this case, you do need a Philips Hue hub because Philips decided in their infinite wisdom to apply Matter to the Philips Hue hub, not the individual bulbs. So it actually goes my doorbell, Philips Hue hub, Philips Hue bulbs. I can't imagine why. Corporate greed! Yeah. I'm still getting over being fired by the Galactic Senate. I had it coming really. The week before I did do quite a large gaffe. Fairly huge gaffe. And dual band Wi-Fi. It does 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So if you've got one of those stupid routers that will only let you stick stuff on the 5 gigahertz band, they've solved that too. But it also means if you're one of the very many people who have a router right in your hallway, then this thing will do 5 gigahertz, which is blisteringly fast images. That I can't overstate that. That is a really, really important thing to have in a doorbell. It has on-device facial recognition, which means it doesn't have to pass images to the cloud to find out who a person is. More private, faster, and you get push notifications that will specifically say, Adam is at the door, or Paul is at the door. And you can log your family's comings and goings like some kind of psychopath. It can be wired in if you don't want to change batteries, but if you're renting, you can actually use batteries and not even have to screw this thing to your wall because it comes with a 3M sticky pad on the back that you can just stick to the wall instead. This is probably the ultimate doorbell, not only for renters, but probably for everybody. It can do cloud storage, but also has a micro SD card slot capable of receiving a massive 512 gigabyte SD card in the chime.
Oh yeah, right in the chime!
No! Hello, yes, YouTube, please! This week he's sticking it right in the chime! Yes, I know that doesn't mean anything. I'm very mad about it anyway! Disgusting! I do these videos every single week. It's new tech tutorials and reviews of mostly smart home stuff, but also projectors, that sort of thing. If you like that sort of thing, please consider subscribing. It does me a huge favor. On with the show. If you want it to, as long as you've wired it in, you can't do this on battery. If you wired it in, you can record 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which means that Nest, out the window. Forget Nest, it's rubbish. I've told you guys before, it's rubbish. It records 24/7, and that is its only decent thing about it. That and the interface. I'm going to talk about the interface shortly. But this thing records to an SD card, which is, I think this is worth saying for comparison's sake too, twice the size of my current champion, the Reolink doorbell. And it records to the chime, not the doorbell itself, which means that if somebody stole the doorbell, you would still have the footage. This is still the most ingenious way of doing this in 2025 I've seen. But on top of this, even if the burglar stole the chime, you still get free cloud storage for 5-second snapshots. So motion alerts get picked up by the camera, record for 5 seconds, and send it off to the cloud across the internet. There is nothing a burglar can do to stop this thing filming. But for storage, that's not even the thing that I'm personally excited about. This model also does NAS and RTSP2, so I'm hoping I should be able to connect this doorbell directly to my Reolink NVR and be able to continue with all my other Reolink cameras whilst having all of the benefits of this Aqara doorbell on the front of my house. I'm going to find out if that's the case. In fact, Paul from the future, does it work? No, it bloody doesn't. Not for me anyway, so unfortunately for me, Reolink doesn't do RTSP for third-party cameras, so I can't do that. However, it does work in Home Assistant, and it will work for any other service that will accept an RTSP camera. So yeah, it'll work for you, just doesn't work for me and my Reolink NVR, which sucks balls. Whatever he just said. I'll find out when I'm in. What else is new, pussycat? On the surface of it, not a lot, but under the hood, absolutely loads. So the new G410 has 2K resolution, which is a huge deal because the previous one was only 1080p, which was actually one of its only failings. It also has a wider field of view at 175 degrees, where the previous one was only 162, giving you more visibility of your driveway to go with what was already quite a tall field of view for looking at things like parcels. The front of the doorbell now lights up instead of being a simple painted on image, which means that people are less likely to be confused at night when they come to press what they think might be a doorbell. And the interface on this thing now looks like the only doorbell I've seen so far to compete with Nest. This thing is beautiful to use. It looks really, really nice as you're scrolling through your footage, and I couldn't be more impressed. Stupid floating stanza 4 anyway.
I move for a vote of no confidence.
Oi! Cheeky little trollop.
Some respect, she's okay, for God's sake.
You see the little ETs? Little ETs down there. I didn't put that in. That's in Star Wars. George Lucas was off his tits. But aside from the interface being really nice to use, it's also got a lot of functionality in the app, especially to do with things like notifications. So for notifications, you've obviously got motion events and you've got doorbell presses, but there are a whole bunch of other things to select from, and they all have their individual settings for sensitivity and for schedules and for turning the notifications on and off, which actually makes this one of the most malleable systems I've used and the most straightforward. Just a quick wrap up before we move on to the what's wrong with it section. The mmWave technology is worth it for this doorbell alone. If you live with a short driveway with people walking up and down the end of it, it's going to trigger all the time on every other doorbell I've tried except this one. I have never seen this technology in a doorbell, and it can't be overstated just how important it is. If you live on, if the pavement is right in front of your door, you're probably not going to get away with that. Although you can actually set it so it's 3 seconds of someone being in front of the door or 2 seconds of someone being in front of the door. If there's any doorbell that is going to fix this issue for you, it's this one. Notifications come through for doorbell presses and motion detection within seconds, regardless of whether it's on battery or wired, which is absolutely awesome. And finally, will I personally be moving to this doorbell? If I was starting from scratch, I absolutely would. The fact that I now have a very, very cool Reolink setup, all bundled into Home Assistant and all recording to an NVR, and there are loads of cameras all over the place, inside and out, it makes me kind of feel like I need to stick with a Reolink doorbell, really just to keep everything in one place. But if I was starting over, the Aqara doorbell's mmWave presence sensor is way too good to ignore, and this doorbell is what I would be getting if I was in the market. And now for the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room. And you're going to need to be quite a bit bigger. Unfortunately, Aqara are retiring the free cloud storage. So you can pay for cloud storage and have as much as you want for as long as you want. You can not pay for cloud storage currently and have 5-second clips, and these 5-second clips were entirely free. And this was the biggest selling point on these doorbells, on the old model and on this one, and it's why I made a big deal out of it at the beginning of the video. I'm desperately hoping they change their mind. I've spoken to them and I've said, this is a big selling point for your cameras, please don't get rid of it. And they said, yeah, we'll think about it. In the same way as your mum and dad say we'll think about it when you, as a kid, you ask if you can go to McDonald's for lunch. So many sausages and mash. So for now, you've got the free cloud storage for a year, and they're scaling it down over time. So eventually you'll get like 12 hours out of it instead of a day, I think, after 6 months, and then they get rid of it completely. I don't know why. Well, why? Probably too much money. It would probably cost them a load of money. I mean, it's not free to host this stuff, so it's no great surprise. It's just a massive shame. But all that said, this thing still has the SD card storage in the Chime where the burglar can't get to it, which will record 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that would be enough for me to want to switch if I didn't already have an NVR set up with my Reolink doorbell. And before we go any further, this doorbell is 120 quid cheaper than Nest.
This is incredible.
If you're looking at a Nest doorbell, this is 120 quid cheaper than that, and you don't need to buy into the subscription if you're happy enough using the SD card in the chime. Why would anybody ever get a Nest doorbell these days is beyond me. I really don't understand why anyone still does it. When the camera is busy, it struggles to serve the picture to more than one location. So if, for example, you have it connected to Amazon Alexa and the feed automatically loads on the TV, when you are trying to answer the doorbell on your phone, you'll find that the image is stuttering. And it's a bit of a shame because it's otherwise kind of perfect. There's also no color night vision. I know a lot of camera manufacturers do that these days. I don't personally like it. I find that it is more smeary than just simple infrared black and white footages. Infrared black and white footage for me is more crisp and clear anyway, so this wouldn't stop me personally, but if you very specifically like the idea of color night vision, this doesn't have it. And finally, HomeKit Secure Video only does 1200p. I think that's worth noting if you're a big HomeKit Secure Video guy. This isn't Aqara's fault at all. This is very much an Apple problem. Security, or something to do with security.
The same reason that we tell you every time we don't want to do something. Security, or something to do with security.
This is another unbelievable product from Aqara. I've reviewed a lot of doorbells over the years, and it's really hard for me to move away from Reolink because I really, really love their stuff, and I have their cameras all over my house. I want just one ecosystem. If you're in the market for a doorbell, this is probably the best one on the market, simply because of the mmWave presence detection, the 2K video feed, the really, really cool app, and the 24/7 recording to an SD card that is in a chime in a separate location from where the burglars might steal it. It's a really powerful smart home hub. It works with third-party products from other manufacturers, and it's Aqara. I mean, everything they make is awesome. If you're interested in picking one up, as usual, there are links in the description as to where you can grab one from. If you've enjoyed this video, if you like this sort of thing, please do me a favor and subscribe. Honestly, it really does help the channel to keep performing as it does. And so do these people. These are my patrons from Patreon, and without them, I wouldn't be doing this for a living. I'm thanking one personally every week, and this week it's Jamie Brookshaw, simply because I owe him a huge apology. I should have replied like 4 weeks ago to his message on Patreon, so really sorry, Jamie, and honestly, thank you so much for the support. If you want to be like those guys or like Jamie, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I will genuinely love you forever. These are my Facebooks, my X, my Threads, my Instagrams, my TikToks. Come hang out there, it can be best friends. See you next time.